So my viewers are awesome. Let me tell you just how awesome you are. We did this video yesterday about Ukraine has lost 500,000 troops, says ex-prosecutor general. And I picked it apart. And then you picked it apart. And what you did went way beyond even what I did. So let's look at this again. So the claim was Ukraine has lost 500,000 troops according to ex-prosecutor general. But we pointed out in this video that, for example, this claim of 500,000 troops lost, there was no real quotations about that. It came from this Yuri Lutsenko, who is a former prosecutor. Does he know that for a fact? Like, is he in a position to know that? And who is he? And if he is in a position to know that, did he really say it? And those kind of things, right? So after I did this video, this was the video. Nope, that's Russian claims this, but you can't really hang your hat on what they said. And I proved it by going back into, like, here's the original article, which was created in Moscow, right? RTVI is a Russian publication. And even Ground News said there's only this one article from which this comes from that RT picked up, and then other places, Indian papers and other Asian newspapers picked it up and just kind of wholesale swiped the RT article. So some of you then added things. So I asked for, I said, look, in this RTVI, I said, Triamoy TV channel carried this thing, and then you found it on strana.ua in his Telegram channel. And I even found the Telegram channel, but I don't speak the language, so I couldn't translate what it was. So I'm reading through the comments, and here's somebody popping up with a translation. I even asked somebody who volunteered, hey, do you have anything you want me to translate, if they could translate it? But here's one of them. Okay, here's the exact quote from Yuri Lutsenko. I personally think, no, so the claim was, or it made it look like that he's saying 500,000 troops were lost, okay? And we have to just admit that. Okay, here is the original actual statement. I personally think that they, the President, the Minister of Defense, and the Commander-in-Chief, must come forth and tell the exact number of the Ukrainians who were killed. We know that's part of what was also in the article itself. Okay, I know that they don't want that, and I know that this will be hard to accept, but there is no other possibility to take out the comfort zone, the millions who are hiding behind the fairy tales that the service must be done by whomever but not me. So he's actually pro-Ukrainian, saying, look, people need to step up and they need to know that they're needed. They need to volunteer. Okay, it must be told fairly. 500,000 we are now talking about, and again, in the context of the upcoming mobilization, if we divide by the months, it's about 30,000 per month. So they quoted in here this 30,000 figure, right? Here's the 30,000. That's where that came from. So he's saying that 500,000 is if we divide by about 30,000. He's just giving a rough cut of potential math that may or may not be there. And that's how he's getting to that figure. But he's not actually claiming that he has inside baseball knowledge that this is the actual figure. And then we approximately understand what's happening at the front. Again, it's a very rough approximation, a very rough cut. Now that's the end of the quote. But they made it sound like something far more authoritative than what it was. This viewer, good on you, viewer, for finding that, by the way. Thank you so much. So he didn't say that 30,000 get killed per month. He named the monthly need for fresh forces because people not only get killed, some get wounded, some get sick, some simply are overtired, etc. And one more thing, Yuri Lutsenko is a true patriot of Ukraine. Okay, so let's look at that. It's not here's 30,000 destroyed each month, killed or casualties, but also the need to rotate troops in the battlefield and put fresh forces in and that sort of thing. So we're dealing with something very different than what RT made it look like. But they twisted it and they were happy to twist it. One more thing, Yuri Lutsenko is a true patriot of Ukraine. He served in the army, namely as a drone operator at the Magyar's birds, and got decommissioned only recently because he got cancer. However, Yuri Lutsenko is a member of Poroshenko's party and a sworn critic of Zelensky and everything that he does. So we should keep his political affiliation in mind when assessing his words. Now, I believe that Lutsenko is simultaneously a Ukrainian patriot, and as a member of the other party, he opposes Zelensky and thinks it should be done a different way. We see that in the United States, and I'm not talking about blocking aid for Ukraine. I'm a conservative who is all in support of Ukraine. But we can see things differently and still be patriots and still support. It's okay. So when you factor that kind of thing in, now I looked him up and I couldn't find anything. Like, I was like, okay, is this guy some kind of, Russian foil? Is he, all in for Russia? No, he wasn't. I looked that up before I did the video yesterday and read all about him. But that makes a lot of sense if he's from the opposition party. So party politics are still playing out there, just like they are in the US and everywhere else. Okay. Another person chimed in and said, the reason that Zelensky asked for 500,000 mobilized men is to be able to regularly rotate men out of the front lines, not to replace losses. Well, that is a very different dynamic. If you're suggesting that you need 500,000 to replace 500,000, and now remember, we're talking about the mobilization, the number asked for by Zelensky to Zelensky about new mobilization wave of 500,000. And if you're asking for the 500,000 to replace 500 killed and casualties, which is what RT made it look like, that's very different than if you're asking for 500,000 to replace that and to be able to rotate new men in and out and that sort of thing. So it's a different picture. So there's one other comment I wanted to highlight. So this person said, please look up Julia Graff's TED Talk on scout versus soldier mentality. It fits the topic. Okay, so what's a scout versus soldier mentality? Soldier mentality, so think about a soldier. He's got constant pressure all the time. He's looking around. He's just trying to defend. He's just thinking, like, I've got to kill everything around me before it kills me. And so they have this kind of besieged mentality. I've just got to. Now, if you translate that into trying to understand things, you're just trying to prove your points everywhere you go. It's motivated reasoning. It's like, well, if they said this, it must mean something here that proves my point. That's a soldier mentality. The scout mentality is actually different. The scout's trying to actually find an accurate lay of the land. What is going on? How does it work? How many troops are there? They're not trying to prove that those troops don't exist or that they're weak or that they're this or that or anything else. They're trying to get an accurate assessment of what's going on. In fact, with that mentality, if you find something that contradicts the way that you normally think about things, you're pleasantly surprised because now that adds new neural nodes to your network and you're thinking about things more accurately than you were before. And we really have to get to a place. This is the video, by the way, that the TED Talk, Why Scout Mindset is Crucial to Judgment, to Good Judgment. We have to get to a place where we're not worried about if we have facts that contradict us, but we incorporate them, and we're glad that we can incorporate them and understand what is really happening. If you have that mentality, you'll see more clearly, more accurately, you'll be able to understand what's going on. So I'd urge you to watch that video if you're wanting to be more intellectually honest and think through things. But I just want to applaud you all for I put this video up, and the comments that you all made, the way that you took this to the next level. Thank you for providing the comments here and the ahas that I got out of it. I really appreciate it. You're an awesome community. I can't say that enough. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, the comments that you put in here, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.